Hey there, this is Seth Schaefer from Team Just Cause Robotics, and today it's time for Division's run through the Sword Fall Tournament on November 6th, 2021. Any regular viewers of mine will be familiar with Division. This is my longest running bot by far, with a V1.0 debut in August 2019 and a total redesign for V2.0 shortly after in September. Division competed at Sword Fall 2019 as version 2.5 in November of that year, so this has been a 2-year wait for a return. Now in version 2.12, Division maintains little aside from its overall shape and wheels from the version that fought here before. I've got a playlist of over a dozen videos covering all the changes this bot has seen over the years, so I'll just summarize the important parts. Division is built as a Beetleweight robot with various configurations, weighing up to 2 pounds 15.8 ounces, less than 20 grams shy of the 3-pound limit. Division's main weapon, which I've dubbed the Cutter Blade, is a gigantic 7.5-inch effective diameter, 1/4-inch thick AR-500 armor steel blade, which can spin up to a tip speed approaching 230 miles an hour. At that speed, it stores about the same kinetic energy as the muzzle energy of a .357 Magnum handgun. In a nutshell, Division will fuck you up. Norwalk Havoc Robot League, where Division's fought in 7 events and 27 total fights, keeps very detailed statistics of all Beetleweight robots to have ever fought there. Out of 80 robots to have more than 8 Norwalk fights, Division ranks number 2 for the shortest average fight time, just 83 seconds out of a possible 180-second match. Of all 27 fights, only 3 have ended in a judge's decision, and Division has more knockouts than all but 15 of the nearly 300 competitors to have ever fought at Norwalk events. Division was simply built for complete chaos and destruction. However, Division's biggest threat in the arena is nearly always itself. Containing this much raw energy and directing it only at the other guy is pretty damn hard. This design had a rough go of it at its last Norwalk Havoc tournament, and prepping 2 other robots that I brought to Sword left me with no other time to make upgrades to Division. Instead, I just fixed the damage it took and got both my bots operational and made sure what few spare parts I had left came with me to the event. Division is just a single robot, but I have a second bot built up as a spare for faster turnaround times due to the amount of damage it can take during a fight. This proved to be absolutely critical at this event, as I fielded 2 other bots and had a total of over 16 fights, averaging almost 2 fights an hour, often back to back. Event format. The way Sword runs its Beetleweight 3-pound class is very strange and unique. I have a full explanation for it in my last video, where I showed how my newest robot performed, a 3-pound bot called Shrapnel Mine, with a very unique design. Make sure to check out that video too if you haven't already, and skip to about 4 minutes 26 seconds in to get the explanation for the format. In short, Division had to fight 3 bouts against 2 robots at once, and based on its performance, the top 12 robots out of over 20 competitors earned a spot in a single elimination tournament for the grand prize. With that, let's get on to the fights.
Alright, in the blue square we have Bob. Bob, are you ready? If it looks a little, I guess you could say bedazzled, it's because it's made out of bathroom tiles. In the yellow square we have Offset. Offset, are you ready? You look so ready. In the red square we got Division. Division, are you ready? This match will begin in 3, 2, 1. Fight robots, fight! Look at that, big old weapon. And Division is already off the wheel.
Oh, come on!
Well, that was cool.
Swear to God, I'll get out of this fucking pit.
Can you get out?
No.
I think you're done. Just keep going. Just keep fighting.
Just keep going.
Yeah, I think we're going to start counting out. Are you done now?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, you're done. Okay. Division's been self-eliminated. It is down to Bob and Offset. Great job with it. Everything out of the pit. Benson? Benson? Offset, can you move? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Match over. Your winner, Bob.
That sucked. Somehow, the hot glue that was holding the wheels onto my bot, even though it held up perfectly fine for several minutes of aggressive driving that I did in the arena before this fight, decided to let go the first moment that Offset touched it, and it just fell straight off, and then I was stuck trying to crab around, and of course the very first moment that I tried to make a hard turn, I managed to do it in the absolute worst possible way, and very unluckily bounced straight into the pit. I was trying to reverse the weapon over and over to get out of the pit, but unfortunately one of those dense blocks of blue foam eventually jammed itself in between my weapon and upright, making it completely impossible for the weapon to turn, so I just had to give up, and that was that. Pretty disappointing for the first fight of the event, but at least I got some revenge against Bob later. Division was definitely going to win, except then a wheel fell off in the first 2 seconds, and then it went into the pit, and then I lost. And the wheel fell off because hot glue failed me and no other reason. So that sucks, everything works. Division next up has to fight Shrapnel, which is a mid-cutter horizontal, and Thunderchild, which is a wedge. So I have to run the anti-horizontal setup, but then I can't really get under Thunderchild, so this is gonna kind of suck. I hope these wheels stay on better than the other ones. I just used some two-part epoxy to epoxy the wheels onto this one, but I haven't done that on this guy because I think its wheels stayed on for like a bunch of fights last time. So, should I be worried? Maybe. Do I have time to worry? I'm not sure. So Thunderchild is one of the best driven wedges and control bots in the entire sport, and Shrapnel is a vicious horizontal spinner that's perennially performed well at this competition. Possibly two of the hardest bots to fight at this entire tournament, and I had to fight them at the same time.
In the blue square, we have Shrapnel. Shrapnel, are you ready?
Yep.
In the yellow square with that big old bar, we have Division. Are you ready? And in the red square, we have Thunderchild. Thunderchild, are you ready? This match will begin in 3, 2, 1, Fireballs, fight! Division, move. That was convenient.
No, on the edge.
Oh! Travels didn't hit it. It is down 2. Thunderchild in Division. This poor arena.
He's stuck in the arena.
You're stuck in the arena?
Yeah, his forks are in the arena.
Oh. Pause the match.
No,
get him out of there.
Yeah, he... Where's the broom?
This match will resume in 3, 2, 1, fire. Let's fight. 2 minutes remaining. Nate doing a fantastic job keeping Division's weapon away from him. This is an interesting strategy, using the other person's weapon to break their own robot. Let's see if he can put it into action. Oh, that was the first move. Uh-oh. Division, can you move? Tap out. Your winner, Thunderchild, followed by Division, and last Shrapnel. That was a fantastic fight.
Alright, obviously we have to rewatch that fight with some gratuitous slow motion. So a lot happened in that one. It was a lot better than my first fight, that's for sure, though of course Division didn't quite come out with the win. I seemed to be having some issues with the clamping pulleys that I use on my weapon motor, which are intended to have some slip to prevent the weapon motor from annihilating its own bearings every time the weapon stops. They were slipping a lot more easily than they should have. And the main issue with this is that not only does it prevent me from generating the full amount of torque that I need to self-right when the bot is on its face sometimes, but every time the motor shaft is spinning and the pulley isn't, the pulley is able to slide slowly down the shaft, and if it does this just enough, it can actually get hit by the weapon, and that's what happened just at the end there, which you couldn't quite see. The pulley slid enough that the weapon hit the pulley flange, and it knocked my motor loose from its mounting, which meant that I no longer had any belt tension and could no longer self-right. Kind of an unfortunate end to what was otherwise a really epic back and forth battle, but still got some awesome shots from this fight, and there were quite a few sparks thrown, and I certainly can't complain about losing to one of the best drivers in the sport, even though I then lost to him again with Shrapnel Mine.
That was the first move. Uh-oh. Division, can you move? Tap out. Your winner, Thunderchild, from my division last shrapnel. That was a fantastic fight.
To give you a better idea what I'm talking about with the motor pulley, this is a test which was the first time I ever tried this new motor out. I was using a 3D printed nylon upright, so it was more flexible than usual too, but you could see that the weapon actually hit the pulley flange off even in this test. Hi, I have to fix all the things now. Alright, so Shrapnel Mine's good to go, except that it doesn't have a charged battery yet. So now I just have to focus on getting... Here, I'll move together. This is Division after the last fight. So what happened was I tried to YOLO mode Division, which means I flipped the weapon reversing switch while the weapon was going at full speed in an attempt to like lurch around and like bounce behind. But the problem is because the weapon was going like full speed, it produced a shitload of torque on the weapon motor, and the weapon then careened backwards and hit the wall, which is like the worst possible thing that can happen. So the screws pulled out, and this is the same motor that it already happens to against might have been Sepiol most recently. So the threads pulled out of the motor can, and because of the fact that that had happened before, I re-tapped these for M4s, and I used like short stubby M4s, which clearly were too short and too stubby, because now the M4 threads have ripped out, and that means this motor is basically useless to me now. So that sucks, because I don't have a spare stator that actually functions. Since the very first time I put Division into the arena after switching to these motors, I fought Eruption, and the same thing happened, except that also one of the coils inside that stator got shorted against the aluminum and it blew up. So I only have this Division now. Yay. Fortunately, I can swap the wedges onto this frame if I need to. I don't know who I'm fighting next yet, so I don't know if I need to do that yet. I have no more weapon motors, but I do have the drive sped-ups from this guy, so I've just gutted Division number 2 for parts, so I have spares for Division number 1. Division number 1 seems like it should be good to go with just a fresh battery, though. Next up for Division was another tough pair of opponents. Here we had Obliterator, a vertical spinner built by one of my YouTube channel's fans. Sorry I forgot to write down your name. We had a great conversation before any fights started, and he said he was afraid he wouldn't get a chance at a second fight after he had to fight 2 horizontals in his first, but somehow he got his bot back together for this match. He also said he loves Division, and he would love it even more if Division were the bot that ripped his in half. We also have one of the Sword Club members' robots in Sparky, which is a horizontal spinner that seems to be made out of a aluminum diamond plate top and bottom panel. This weapon is definitely no joke though. When it's spinning, it can dish out some real nasty hits.
In the blue square, we have Obliterator. Obliterator, are you ready to be obliterated? In the yellow square, we have Division, made to divide some awesome now. Are you ready? And in the blue square, we got Sparky, which spins. Are you ready? This match will begin. 3, 2, 1, fire robots, fight!
let's get that light bulb out.
Just get the light bulb out there. You can leave the blue. Just take it out, Steve. Just pull the whole thing, Steve.
To the graveyard.
That was a pretty cool 30 seconds. Shut the door. Hopefully Sparky. This match will be resumed in 3, 2, 1, fire, let's fight. Two minutes remaining. Sparky, can you move? Sparky, can you move? The humanity. Tap. Your winner, division. Second place, Sparky, and last, Obliterator. Preston, you can fix that. Fire, let's fight.
I unfortunately didn't get this one in slow motion, but let's just watch this again because that was so much fun.
Oh!
Yeah, go for it.
That's it.
Oh, that's it. Stop it.
Get that light bulb out of there.
Pause the match.
Yeah, let's get that light bulb out.
Just get the light bulb out of there. You can leave the blue right here.
Get the light bulb out without one moving.
Just take it out, Steve. Just pull the whole thing, Steve.
I don't even know where the light bulb was.
That was a pretty cool 30 seconds. Shut the door.
Shut the door. There you go.
Oh boy, Sparky. This match will be resumed in 3, 2, 1, fire, let's fight.
So you can make your weapon go fast, right?
Yeah.
Like full blast when you're fighting ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
2 minutes remaining.
I have to.
Sparky, can you move?
Yeah.
Sparky, can you move?
Kinda.
Now. The humanity.
Oh,
Tap. Your winner.
And with that impressive double knockout, Division got enough points to qualify for the single elimination final. Now I had to fight in a quarterfinal against a defensive wedge bot called Materbot. Materbot has a brushless drive system and an extremely tanky steel wedge, and Division has been experiencing increased wear and tear, especially on its weapon motor and pulley. This was going to be a difficult fight.
Yep.
In the red shirt, we got Materbot. Materbot, are you ready? This match will begin in 3, 2, 1, fire, let's fight. and you move. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This match is over.
Obviously, this is pretty much the worst way to lose. I don't really know precisely what happened, but it looked like the belt was kind of skipping on the pulley, like somehow it got a bit loose. The pulley was also jammed onto the motor shaft. It's supposed to have a screw that kind of clamps it to the shaft, but for the life of me, I could not loosen or tighten that screw. So I tried to get a second pulley on and like tighten it properly, but I just couldn't for some reason. It refused to clamp any tighter, and I had already kind of stripped out the screw head, so I just had to kind of shove that on and roll with it. It was very unfortunate, but it was all that I could cobble together in the very limited time I had with so little time to prepare between fights. Still though, Division performed pretty well overall, and I got one more bonus Rumble fight that you'll get to see at the end while I break everything down. Although Division's performance wasn't completely stellar, between Division, Shrapnel Mine, and Mini Melter all performing valiantly, I had more fun than I think I might have ever had at a Robot Combat event before, save maybe for my first ever Motorama event. This was a huge blast, and I have to give a huge thanks once again to all of the organizers of Sword who helped make this event possible. Now enjoy while Division attempts to murder every single robot in the Sword Club at the same time.
This Beetleweight Rumble will begin in 3, 2, 1. Fire robots, fight! Out. I see a chef hat around. Shrapnel has also lost this weapon. Mr. Meaty is still being meaty. Division is still going strong. 3 minutes remaining. Alright, pause this. We're going to get Beetle out of there. Beetle survived yet another sword.
Just get him out of there. They don't want that lipo. Hey.
Alright, that's a fire hazard. Not like any other of these fire hazards. This rumble will resume in 3, 2, 1. Fire robots, fight! Great hit, Mr. Meaty has removed the Oh, Mr. Meaty has ripped off the Division's motor. Mr. Meaty is the only one with the weapon. Mr. Meaty has removed the Division's weapon. We got 1 minute 30 remaining. It's exciting Beetle Rumble. Division, are you stuck?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
I'll put your weapons in.
We got Mr. Meaty, Gatorbot, Shrapnel, and Division.
Oh, my battery's like dying.
1 minute remaining.
I'm out of juice.
Where's the weapon?
Uh-oh. Mr. Meaty.
I should have chose the 1000 milliamp battery.
I believe Mr. Meaty has killed his battery. That's sad.
Why is this still moving?
It is now, I believe, down to just Shrapnel and Gatorbot, which both only have one wheel driving. What a turn of the event, folks. 15 seconds remaining in this. Gatorbot, can you move?
I think that Shrapnel was ultimately declared to be the winner somehow, but I think Division probably deserved the win. I don't know how long that Rumble was supposed to have gone on for, but if it was 3 minutes, I'm just gonna call that a win. So Division was pretty badly torn up, and I no longer have any functioning weapon motors for it. So since I am planning on doing a ground-up redesign for a version 3 of Division in the future, I decided to sell the remaining parts that I had from Division v2.12 to somebody who had already been planning to build his own version of the bot, and I currently have a bunch of other parts from Division's version 2.0 to 2.10 or so that I could potentially sell as well, so let me know if you're interested in owning any of these. If you liked this video, click like. If you want to see more videos like this, like my upcoming mini mulcher video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when that's released. And as always, thanks for watching.